Welcome to my rapidly growing YouTube channel. Is deflation harmful to the economy? What's worse, inflation or deflation? I will be talking to you today about what economic deflation means. I will also discuss how to make money in times of deflation. So sit tight and listen till the end of the video. For a chance to win a $50 gift card, please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and leave a comment below. Deflation is defined as a decrease in the total level of prices in an economy and a rise in the purchasing power of the currency. It can be caused by an increase in productivity and the abundance of products and services, a fall in total or aggregate demand, or a decline in the supply of money and credit. Changes in consumer pricing can be noticed in most countries' economic statistics by comparing changes in a basket of various commodities and products to an index. The Consumer Price Index, CPI, is the index that is most frequently used in the US to calculate inflation rates. When the index in one period is lower than in the preceding period, the general level of prices has fallen, indicating that the economy is undergoing deflation. This general price decrease is beneficial because it gives consumers more purchasing power. Moderate drops in certain products, such as food or energy, can even have a positive effect on nominal consumer spending. Aside from these basic necessities, a general, sustained drop in all prices not only allows people to consume more, but it can also promote economic growth and stability by improving money's function as a store of value and encouraging real savings. Rapid deflation, on the other hand, can be associated with a short-term contraction in economic activity in certain circumstances. In general, this can happen when an economy is heavily in debt and is reliant on the continuous expansion of credit supply to inflate asset prices by financing speculative investment, and then when the volume of credit contracts, asset prices fall and speculative overinvestments are liquidated. This is sometimes referred to as debt deflation. Deflation, on the other hand, is typically a positive feature of a healthy, growing economy that reflects technological progress, increasing abundance, and rising living standards. If, as the common saying goes, inflation is the result of too much money chasing too few goods in the economy, then deflation can be defined as a growing supply of goods and services being chased by a constant or slower growing supply of money. This means that deflation can be caused by either an increase in the supply of goods and services or a decrease in the supply of money and credit. In either case, if prices can adjust downward, the overall price level falls. A rise in the supply of goods and services in an economy is typically the result of technological advancement, the discovery of new resources, or an increase in productivity. Consumer purchasing power and living standards rise over time as the increasing value of their wages and business incomes allow them to purchase, use, and consume more and better quality goods and services. This is a clearly beneficial process for the economy and society as a whole. Some economists have expressed concerns that falling prices will cause consumers to hold out or delay purchases in order to pay lower prices in the future. However, there is little evidence that this occurs during normal periods of economic growth accompanied by falling prices due to improvements in productivity, technology, or resource availability. Furthermore, the vast majority of consumption is made up of goods and services that, even if consumers wanted to, cannot be deferred to the future, such as food, clothing, housing services, transportation, and healthcare. Aside from these basic needs, even for luxury and discretionary spending, consumers would choose to reduce current spending only if the rate of price decrease outweighed their natural time preference for present consumption over future consumption. Consumer spending on items that are routinely financed by taking on large debts would suffer from falling prices because the real value of fixed debt will increase over time as prices fall. Deflation can also occur during and after economic downturns under certain conditions. In a highly financialized economy, the reliance on newly created credit to finance business operations, consumer spending, and financial speculation results in ongoing inflation in commodity prices, rents, wages, consumer prices, and asset prices. Investment activity is increasingly taking the form of speculation on the price appreciation of financial and other assets, rather than profit and dividend payments on fundamentally sound economic activity. Business activities are increasingly reliant on the circulation and turnover of newly created credit rather than real savings to fund ongoing operations. Consumers are also increasingly borrowing heavily to finance their spending rather than self-financing from ongoing savings. Gold is commonly thought to be a good inflation hedge, but it can also be a good deflation hedge. To make matters worse, This inflationary process typically includes the suppression of market interest rates, which distorts decisions about the type and time horizon of business investment projects themselves, in addition to how they are financed. At the first sign of trouble, the conditions are set for debt deflation to take hold. At that point, a real economic shock or a market interest rate correction can put pressure on heavily indebted businesses, consumers, and investment speculators. Some are having difficulty revolving, refinancing, or making payments on various debt obligations such as business loans, mortgages, auto loans, student loans, and credit cards. Delinquencies and defaults result in debt liquidation and bad debt write-downs by lenders, which begin to eat away at some of the economy's accumulated supply of circulating credit. Bank balance sheets become more shaky, and depositors may seek to withdraw funds as cash in the event that the bank fails. A bank run may occur if banks have overextended loans and liabilities against insufficient cash reserves and are unable to meet their own obligations. Financial institutions begin to fail, removing the liquidity that indebted borrowers have grown increasingly desperate for. This decrease in the supply of money and credit reduces consumers, businesses, and speculative investors' ability to borrow and bid up asset and consumer goods prices, causing prices to stop rising or even begin to fall. Falling prices increase the pressure on indebted businesses, consumers, and investors because the nominal value of their debts remains constant while the corresponding nominal value of their revenues, incomes, and collateral falls due to price deflation. At that point, the debt and price deflation cycle feeds back on itself. In the short term, this debt deflation process will result in a wave of business failures, personal bankruptcies, and rising unemployment. The economy enters a recession, and economic output slows as debt-financed consumption and investment decline. Deflation occurs when the prices of goods and services fall across the entire economy, increasing consumers' purchasing power. It is the inverse of inflation and can be considered bad for a country because it can signal an economic downturn, leading to a recession or depression. Positive factors, such as technological advancements, can also cause deflation. Is deflation worse than inflation? It all depends. Deflation can be worse than inflation if it is caused by negative factors such as a lack of demand or a decrease in market efficiency. Deflation can be preferable to inflation if it is caused by positive factors such as technological advancements that reduce the cost of goods and services. How do you make money in times of deflation? Investors can protect themselves against deflation by purchasing investment-grade bonds, consumer staple stocks, dividend stocks, and cash. A well-diversified portfolio can provide protection against a wide range of economic scenarios. A small amount of deflation is a byproduct of, and beneficial to, economic growth. However, in the case of an economy-wide, central bank-fueled debt bubble that bursts, rapidly falling prices can go hand in hand with a financial crisis and recession. Fortunately, the subsequent period of debt deflation and recession is only temporary and can be avoided entirely if the perennial temptation to inflate the supply of money and credit in the first place is avoided. Overall, the danger to a country's economy is not deflation, but the inflationary period that leads to debt deflation. Unfortunately, over the last century or so, consistent and repeated inflation of this type of debt bubble by central banks has become the norm. At the end of the day, this means that as long as these policies are in place, deflation will be associated with the economic harm they cause. I hope you find this information helpful. To get more contents like this, kindly check out the video suggestions on your screen. You can also look through the playlist for more content that you may like. For a chance to win a $50 gift card, subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment, and share. Thank you.